This is the Iowa Weather Report for Monday, March the 16th, 2015. And now our first look at the Zero-Z GFS model run at 1 p.m. this afternoon. Big ridge over the center part of the country, and that's bringing the temperatures way on up there. Highs today will be in the upper 60s to the lower and possibly middle 80s across the state. And it's going to remain very dry as well, and extreme fire dangers still likely across the southern and western counties of the state. You see a frontal system to our north with a little bit of precipitation? Well, that precipitation is not going to be near us. The front's going to come through mainly dry with a couple of clouds, but it's really going to take the temperatures down. The temp readings on Tuesday will be in the 40s and 50s for highs. Lows will be back into the upper 20s to middle 30s, and it's going to remain that way for the rest of the week. You see storms and precipitation close by, but it's just not going to be around here, though. Maybe a few more clouds around with these systems that are close, but it's not going to precipitate, at least in the state. We can't rule out maybe a sprinkle, but most of the better chances of precipitation will be off to our south, across the south, the Carolinas, up in the mid-Atlantic, across the Intermountain West as well, and that drops back into Texas. Texas really needs quite a bit of precipitation down there, but if we don't get any precipitation soon, we're going to be the ones needing it in maybe a week or so. But nevertheless, we go through the rest of the week. It's still very little precipitation around, some over the Great Lakes, the Texas Gulf Coast, along the Pacific Northwest coast, but not a whole heck of a lot around here, even as we're into the weekend. Here's Sunday. It will be a little bit cooler. A front will come through on Friday night, Saturday. That'll drop the readings maybe a little bit, down into the 40s to lower 50s, maybe a bit higher than that, depending on any sunshine and clouds we may see. But by Monday, you can see we're back to pretty much a zonal pattern. But you can see we have a storm in the Canadian Maritimes, a disturbance over the Canadian Prairie provinces, another over the north and west. And that one that's off in the Pacific Northwest is going to be getting close enough. The Gulf may start to open up, and we could see a little bit of precipitation by next Monday. That could be our next chance of widespread precipitation a week from today, and that's even slight at best. Going into the extended period, this is the 27th. We have a disturbance looking to move through the middle part of the country. Otherwise, it's still mainly zonal. No big, huge troughs, no big ridges, although a ridge is trying to form over the western part of Canada. And we have a system that's departing the area with a little bit of precipitation, rain, maybe a wintry mix, depending on temperatures. We'll have to wait and see on that. From here westward, it looks fairly dry. Temperatures look to be near seasonal levels, maybe a skosh below. Going into the end of the month, the 31st, we have pretty much a zonal flow and no big systems around, if this is to be correct. At least nothing where we have to say, oh, here's really bad weather. We have a system off to our west. Looks to bring a little bit of precipitation around. We'll have to wait and see if this is still on the models in the coming days. But it looks like the latter half of the month could be a little more active and a little more wet, and we'll need it by then. Satellite image from last evening. You see a lot of clouds to our north and west. Unfortunately, most of those are high and mid-level clouds and have very little precipitation with them. A couple of clouds over Mexico and into Texas, but around the rest of the country it's fairly quiet. Watch warning map looks very quiet as well. This is from last evening. A couple of river flood issues across the Mid-South. A flood watch across Erie up to Buffalo. Winter weather issues across the far northern tier of the country, and some red flag issues across the middle part of the country. QPF chart. Precipitation over the next 5 days through Friday evening at 7 o'clock, showing most of the precipitation in the northwest, across Texas, through the south, and up to the east coast, where we may get nothing around here for at least a week or so.